Okay, Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to chapter 13, part 1. Because this chapter is quite long, so we have 2 weeks for this. So today we'll do half of chapter 13, and next week we'll do the other half. And so, who would like to start with this invocation? Who would like to volunteer?
Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. You want to do?
Okay, I will do it. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Mantra prayer to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaye Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. Our respectful obeisances are unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami. You are kind. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Deva and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Panchatattva Mantra. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. I offer my obeisance to Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadara, Shri Vasa, and all others in the line of devotion. Maha Mantra. Maha means great, and mantra means sacred chant for deliverance. Of all mantras in the Vedas, one is called Maha Mantra or Great Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The words Hare, pronounced Hare, Krishna, pronounced Krishna, and Rama rhymes with drama, are Sanskrit words. Hare is an address to God's energy known as Radha, and Krishna is the name of God, meaning he who is attractive to everyone. Rama means one who gives pleasures and enjoys life. When chanted, the Maha Mantra is a petition to God. O Krishna, O energy of Krishna, please engage me in your service. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna, Kavita, Jai Shri.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari. The others have already finished them. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Chapter 13. Krishna in chapter 1 in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1 to 6, explains the relationship and the difference between the body and the soul and the Supreme Lord, and also the different forms of bhakti, karma yoga, and all that. And then 7 to 12 is a detailed process of bhakti yoga. Now from 13 to 18 is how the soul comes in contact and interacts with the material nature and the world, and how to get deliverance from this material nature and reach the spiritual world. The main theme of the whole Bhagavad Gita is to perfect one's life and to reach the spiritual world. So in chapter 13, Krishna is speaking about the body, the soul, the super soul. Krishna is also expanding himself as the super soul, and he's seated in everyone's heart with the individual soul. Your individual soul is in your body, and Krishna as the super soul is also in your heart. So this is the general description of chapter 13, and also from 13 to 18. And 18, of course, is the final conclusion, where all the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita is given by Krishna. So shall we start now? And Okay, who would like to start with this Gita Gyan invocation? Volunteer?
Okay, Prabhu, can I try?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, essence of the Bhagavad Gita. Devaki Nandanana Krishna Gita Pate Ena Tushyati Yata Yata Na Vedar Danya Yajna Tirtha Vrita Ve. The son
Vritatihi.
Vrita Bhitihi, the son of Devaki, the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, cannot be satisfied by anyone's study of the Vedas, charity, sacrifice, pilgrimage, or vows as much as he is satisfied by the devotional recitation of the Gita. Vaishnava Tantreya Sara 22.
Okay, Vatani, explain what does this mean?
Meaning that whatever we do, at the end of the day, Krishna will only be satisfied, very satisfied when we recite or we study the Gita.
Okay. So that's the topmost form of
Devotion that Krishna would expect out of us.
yeah, it's the topmost form for pleasing Krishna.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we pray to Lord Nrsimhadev to protect all of us and all the people in the world, especially the devotees, because he is special. He has a special preference to protecting devotees. He's actually Krishna, same as Lord Nrsimha. So we also chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This is deity is in Mayapur. If you ever go to Mayapur, can you mute your mics, please? If you ever go to Mayapur, you will see this nice deity, Mayapur temple. Let's hope the COVID finish. Then anyone wants to go, we can all go together. Okay. We also take the blessings of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Because of him, we all are in contact with Bhagavad Gita, which is very, very good and easy to understand. And also, he has built a world where everyone can live in. Okay, who would like to read this? Gita Mahatmya. Anna?
Hare Prabhuji,
Yeah, please. Yes.
Gitayas cha na janati patanam naiva padanam sa eva manuse loke moga karma karo bhavat. A person who knows nothing about learning and teaching the Gita is a failure in the duty of the human form of life. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Correct. So I have one question for you. How about people who are not in the Vedic philosophy and they don't read the Gita? Is it a failure? Is it a failure of them in the duty of human form of life? But
They can do.
but they
They
read the
can
Quran
do.
and they read the Bible.
I beg your pardon?
You see, we are in the Vedic philosophy. We are Hindus, right?
Yeah.
So supposing we are Hindus and we don't read the Gita, so that means we are actually a failure in our duty in a human form of life.
Okay.
You see, those who are not reading the Bhagavad Gita, actually in a way it is a failure, because you see, they don't really know how to go back to the spiritual world. Human form
Yeah.
of life is supposed to be the means by which we can understand how to go back and practice and really go back to the world without coming back to this material world again. So that is why the Gita is very important, and you all are very fortunate to be reading the Gita. You all are actually very blessed. So in this way, how about people who are not Hindus and they are reading only their Quran or their Bible? Anyone?
Then they fail.
Huh?
They fail in the duty, Prabhuji.
You think they fail in their duty? Okay. Anyone else has anything else to say? What is your opinion? Supposing someone comes to you and you tell them this, and then they say, but I read the Quran. You think I fail in my duty?
Prabhuji, can I? Sorry. Sorry. it's
I
okay.
don't think so because Al Quran is the same like Gita's, right?
I don't know.
As I know, I think yes, Al
No,
Quran
it
is the
is not
same
the
like
same. I have
Gita's,
read
right?
the both. It's not the
But
same.
it's a learning for the life also, right? Al Quran also.
No, it's a little bit different. It's the rules and regulations like for living your life in the material. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So anyway, if they read their scriptures, they have failure because they did not read more than their scripture. They should also read the Bhagavad Gita. So that means they are 50% only there. Because finally, Supreme Lord is Krishna, and Krishna is speaking the Bhagavad Gita for the benefit of everybody. Anyway, of course, they may not agree, but I'm just sharing my opinion. I may be right or wrong. Okay, let's carry on. This chapter 13 is nature, enjoyer, and consciousness. Okay, let's see what's there. Who would like to start off with this? Kavita?
Okay. Arjuna uvacha prakritim purusam chaiva setram setrajanameva cha etad veditum ichchami jnanam neyam cha Keshava. Arjuna said, "Oh, my dear Krishna, I wish to know about the prakriti, nature, purusa, the enjoyer, and the field and the knower of the field, and the knowledge and the object of knowledge."
He is asking now, Arjuna is asking, what is the, I wish to know about nature, which is material world. And then the Purusha, which is the soul, the field, and the knower of the field, which is, who's the knower of the field?
Soul.
No. Okay, I come back to you. Prakriti is material nature, right? You all agree? Okay, Purusha is, we are the Purusha. We are trying to enjoy. And then the field is the body. Knower of the field is Krishna. And the knowledge and the object of knowledge. There is knowledge and the object of knowledge. So we proceed with chapter verse 2. And then we'll say more. Okay. Who would like to read this? Who hasn't read?
Prabhu, can you repeat?
I'll repeat again, but you will read this 2 and 3, then I'll repeat the first one. Who hasn't read yet? Ravinder?
Okay, Prabhu, I'll read. Sri Bhagavan Vacha Idam Sariram Kauntaya Shetram Iti Abhityate Etat Yo Vititam Praho Setra Na Iti Tat Vitaha Setra Nanam Chapimam Vidhi Sarva Trisu Bharata Setra Setra Janor Janam Yat Taj Janam Matam Mama. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field. And one who knows this body is called the knower of the field. O scion of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies, and to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. That is my opinion. Thank
Okay, we'll proceed first, then I'll explain everything easier. Okay, who would like to read from Bhagavad Gita, verse number 4, 5, and 6? Volunteer?
Prabhuji, I will read.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6.
Now, please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its change are, whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what his influence are. 13.5, that knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings. It is especially presented in Vedanta Sutra with all reasoning as to cause and effect. Okay, 6, the 5 great elements: false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 sense and the mind, the 5 sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms and convictions. All these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So let's go back. I wish to know about nature, the enjoyer, the field, and the knower of the field, and of knowledge and the object of knowledge. So here Arjuna is asking the relationship between the material world and the soul, which is the enjoyer, and also the body, which is the field, and the soul who is engrossed in the activities, which is the knower of the field. And then finally, about the knowledge and the object of knowledge. That means what is knowledge? Knowledge is truth. And the object of the knowledge is knowledge about the body is the object of the knowledge. Are you all lost, or you want me to repeat again?
Lost, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. He wants to know about Prakriti, nature. You all understand that nature is a material world?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So far, so good. Huh? Nature means material world. And then the Purusha is the soul. He is trying to enjoy the material world. Aren't we trying to enjoy the material world? Correct, huh? So you got that. And then the field is the body. You see, the question you break up. One part is I wish to know about Prakriti and the enjoyer. Okay? About nature and the enjoyer, the soul, who's trying to enjoy nature. And then the second part is the field. The field is the body. I want to know about the body and the knower of the field, which is the soul who is engrossed in trying to enjoy the material. He's trying to know the field. He's trying to know the body. The field, the body, sorry. And the person who is the soul who is trying to enjoy. And then finally, knowledge and truth is truth about the body and the object of the knowledge. Who is the object of the knowledge? Is Krishna. Can understand so far?
Mhm.
A little bit.
Guruji, that means Krishna is the knowledge and the object of knowledge.
Krishna is the truth about, we must know about the truth about the body, that it is impermanent. Knowledge is the knowledge about the body, material world and our body.
Mm.
The object of the knowledge is Krishna.
Mm. Okay.
You see, if we want to understand about the material world, that it is temporary, then we will try to understand what is the truth then. What are we supposed to do if we are in this temporary world? Okay? So never mind. You just think about it at the end of the class again it asks, okay? Alright? Okay, here the Supreme said the body, O son of Kunti, is called the field. Okay, that one we understood, right, just now. And one who knows the body is called the knower of the field. If you know the body, you are the knower of the soul. The soul is called the knower of the field. Okay, Kyon, you should understand that I am also the knower of all the bodies. Yeah, Krishna knows everybody because he is a super soul in everyone's heart. You only know your own body, right? Correct or not? But Krishna knows everybody. You only know yourself, but Krishna knows everybody. And to understand this body and its knower is called knowledge. So the body is your body, and the knower is yourself. That is knowledge. What is the difference between your soul and the body? That's knowledge. Any questions so far? Okay, I proceed. Any question? No. Okay, this is an example. You see, supposing Krishna is the owner of all this. Sorry, Krishna is the owner of all these buildings. Okay, and then you are you are staying in one of these houses. So the person who is staying in the house, you will know about your house, right? But Krishna knows about all the houses. Knows that all these houses, who is the person staying in each of them and what they are doing. When you rent a place, he will ask you, okay, suppose you want to rent this house. The person who you are renting will ask you what's your occupation, how you going to pay the rent, all that. So he will know he will know all the owners, people who are renting this place and what they are doing and whether they are good paymasters. Okay. Okay, this is an example, okay? That Krishna, we know only about our body, but Krishna know about everybody. Can?
Yes, Prabhuji, I think it's a good example. Understands better.
Better, huh? Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay, you see, like a farmer knows only about his land, his farming and what he's growing. But the king knows about everybody in his kingdom, what they are growing and who are the owners of the farm. It's like a government, like say it's not the king. The government knows that who is owning which land and what they are farming. In the olden days, what happens is, like this man is having a farm. So then he grows crops. A portion of the crops he will give to the king as taxes. You understand? So the king knows what he is growing and all that. So the king knows about all the land in the country, who is growing what, where is, and all that. He has a register of all the people who are in his kingdom, right? So it's something like that. So Krishna knows about all of us, but we only know about ourselves. We don't know about the other people. Okay, this is a story of Kanaka Das eating a banana. There was one school. The teacher asked everyone, come today, we are going to do something special. Okay, what is the special thing is, I'm giving you all a banana. All of you go out of the school and eat in a place where there's nobody watching you. Then you eat your banana and you come back. And everyone got the banana and they went all different place, a place where there's nobody, and they ate their banana and came back. But there's one boy, his name is Kanaka Das. He came back with the banana. The teacher said, did you not be able to find any place where you were alone so you can eat it? He said, no. Every place got some person. And then the teacher said, who is that person? He said, every place there is Krishna. So wherever I cannot be alone. I go here, there Krishna is there. I go there, Krishna is there. So Krishna is everywhere. So basically, he came back with the banana. So you see the difference in the consciousness of a person who is not, who thinks that Krishna is not everywhere and not watching him, and the person who understands that Krishna is everywhere and watching him. Okay? So this is a good example, I hope. Okay, this one is the field of activities. We are having a gross elements. Krishna speaks in 6.7. The 5 great elements, false ego, intelligence, unmanifested, the 10 senses, and the mind. The 5 sense objects, desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms, and the convictions. All these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions. This is all about the material world. First, we have gross elements, which is earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then we have the knowledge acquiring senses, which is the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. The skin is also considered a knowledge because when you beat somebody, the fellow can feel the pain. You see, so there is a senses. Or when you stroke the child can feel the love, for example. Then you have the working senses, which is the voice, which is the legs, which is the hands, which is the anus, and which is the genitals. These are the working senses. And then you have the sense object, which you see the object, the eye sees the forms. The ears hear the sounds. These are the sense objects. The nose smells the smells. And the tongue does the tasting. And the skin feels the touch. Okay, so this sense. And then after that, we have the subtle body. Now this is the gross body. 1, 2, 3, including the sense objects is the gross. Then we have the subtle body. This subtle body goes with you to your next life. All these things don't. Your mind goes with you, your intelligence and your false ego. What is the false ego? False ego is I am the body. What is the real ego? I am not the body, I am the servant of Krishna. That's the real ego. So if they say know yourself, what do you mean by know yourself? Sometimes you hear this. It means know that you are not the master, you are not the body, and you are not, but you are the servant of Krishna. That is the real ego. So the unmanifested stage of the three modes of material nature is the prajnana. Unmanifested stage of three modes. Later we'll talk about the three modes, okay? So here we have the soul covered by the subtle body, and then this is the gross body. Now the subtle body is a combination of the mind, intelligence, and the false ego. All right? So if you feel the subtle body decides what type of body you take in your next life. If you can get rid of the subtle body and the false ego, your soul will not take any more subtle body and will go back straight to God. So far clear?
Sorry, Prabhuji, just now said false ego is what?
False ego means that I am the body, everything I am doing. The real ego means you have to get rid of false ego and take the real ego. The real ego means I am the soul and I am the servant of Krishna. Okay, Ken?
Prabhuji, the previous chart,
Yeah.
the first four columns, are they interrelated? Do we connect it, or you're just going column by column?
This
The
is the
explanation.
field of activity. All these are interrelated to form the material world and the material existence.
Because you said earth, then you're going to eyes and then voice. So that's why I don't see the
No,
connection.
this is not connected to this.
So they are by itself.
But knowledge, acquiring senses, and the sense objects are connected.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Okay, we have gone too far, so we will read some more from the Bhagavad Gita. Who would like to read 8 to 12? Ram,
Prabhu, yes,
the English only, yeah?
yes. Text 8. Humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching of bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, and self-control. Renunciation of the objects of sense of gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of evil of birth, death, old age, and disease. Non-attachment to children, wife, home, and the rest, and even mindlessness, even-mindedness, admin pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, restoring to solitary place, detachment from general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All this I thus declare to be knowledge, and what is contrary to this is ignorance.
Okay, so I will explain all these things. Krishna says that humility, we have to have humility. Pridelessness, we should be humble. We should not have pride. We should be non-violent. Non-violent means don't go and do something against other people or other animals. You see? So now, it doesn't mean that you don't defend yourself and don't defend the Dharma. So how Krishna is also coming, when he sees the Dharma is being violated, he comes to defend. So basically, non-violence means it doesn't mean that you don't defend yourself. If someone is invading the country, you have to defend yourself. The country must defend themselves. Okay? So, but they should not go and disturb other countries and try and conquer them and take all their money from them. You know, in the olden days, some of the countries used to do that. They will go and conquer the countries and take the money. Like that's how Rome became rich. You see, that's how that time Saudi Arabia, they started conquering everywhere and they became rich by conquering and robbing, taking all the gold. And that's how a lot of the people came to India. They started coming to India and robbing the temples and going back to their country and enjoying. So that's all violence. Okay, and then we have tolerance. You must be tolerant. You should not be intolerant. That means you understand, right? What is tolerance? So simplicity means you should not desire more than what Krishna has given to you, or what is in your karma. That's simplicity. Happy with whatever you get. Do your duty without looking for the result. That's simplicity. And then approaching a bona fide spiritual master, that is what Krishna wants you to do. You should be clean internally in your heart and externally. And then you should be steady in your devotion and steady in your dharma work, your occupational duty. You should be steady. You should not become sometimes you are spiritual, sometimes not spiritual, or no. Be steady. You should have self-control. You should not do sinful things. That's part of self-control. Okay? Renunciation of the objects of sense gratification. Something that makes you become very materialistic, you should renounce that. You should not do all these things. Absence of false ego. That means you should not think that you are the doer and you are the person, because of you everything is going on. That's false ego. Perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease. Understand that birth, death, old age, and disease is evil. In the material world, this gives a lot of pain. And if you go spiritual world, all these are absent. So that's why the world is actually a beautiful place in a way, but it's also a lot of evil in it. The big fish have to eat the small fish. The tiger must eat the deer and all that. And so all these are evil actually. So you can't escape from that. And then detachment. That means you should not be attached to anything. You should, whatever you have, you get, or whatever you have your family, and hopefully they can also become devotional, and all of you can become good devotees and do devotional service and help each other. Freedom from the entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest. This one means what you know. It doesn't mean that you should not be caring for your wife and your children. That is wrong. That's not correct. That's not what Krishna is meaning. It means that you should not think that your wife and your children and your home is the end in all. That means this is what life is all about. You should understand that life is about going back to the spiritual world. So if you love your wife and your children, you also should help them also become spiritual and go back to the spiritual world. And if the children and the wife are caring for you, they should also try and help you so that you can go back to the spiritual world. So don't become too attached to thinking that they are the cause of your happiness and unhappiness. You know, He said, if I have a beautiful wife or I have a good wife, I'll be the happiest man on earth. And then if I have good children, I'll be very happy. I'm very settled in my life. But that's not what exactly life is supposed to be. Life, that is, you get, thank you, Krishna, you've given me such a nice family, and hopefully all of us will help each other to go back to the spiritual world. That's how your consciousness will be. Even-mindedness, that means in happiness and distress, you don't worry among pleasant and unpleasant events. It doesn't affect you. You understand that this is all the Maya Devi playing tricks. So Maya Devi is playing tricks. You just carry on with your life and your devotion. Constant and unalloyed devotion to me. This is very important. Frankly, everything comes to this. Constant and unalloyed devotion to Krishna. Aspiring to live in a solitary place. What do you mean by a solitary place? Does it mean we should go to the jungle? No, it doesn't mean. It means you should live in a place where there is a place where you can be by yourself to do some reading and chanting. That means solitary. Not that there's nobody in the house. You may be in a house, but maybe you have a place, a room, where you can be by yourself, no one disturbing you in your reading and your chanting. Otherwise, how are you going to do devotional service? Every time people disturb you. So that means in a solitary place. Detachment from the general mass of people. That means don't become too attached in the worldly affairs. You understand that the world will go on, and so in a way you detach from that. Politicians come and go. Some are good, some are bad, some are corrupt. But you do your best. Put your vote to the person whom you think is the least evil. You know, there may be all are bad, but at least vote for the person who is the least evil. Example lah, if you don't have a person who is good. Accepting the importance of self-realization. So this is very important, spiritual life. Philosophical search for the absolute truth. Looking for who is the Supreme Lord. That's reading Bhagavad Gita and understanding. All these are declared to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. So here Krishna is asking about knowledge, right? So far, any question? This one, you please remember this verse. It's very nice. Sometimes read again. At least you know what you're supposed to do. There are a few verses like this in the Bhagavad Gita. Different parts and different instructions from Krishna. But these are all important. Okay. Then if you 13, who would like to read 13, 14, and 15? Manju, are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji, I am.
Read that louder a bit.
I shall 13. I shall now explain the knowable, knowing which you will taste the eternal Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. 14. Everywhere are his hands and legs, his eyes, head and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everything. And 15 as well.
Yes.
The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached. Although he is the maintainer of all living beings, he transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all modes of material nature.
One more, 16.
The supreme truth exists outside and inside of all living beings, the moving and the non-moving. Because he is stubble, he is beyond
Subtle, not stubble. Subtle.
subtle, sorry, he is subtle, he is beyond the power of material senses to see on or to know. Although far, far away, he is also near to all.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Okay, now
Namaskar.
what is all this about? This is all about the Krishna. How is Krishna as the super soul? You see, Krishna is explaining about the soul and the super soul, which are different from the material world. As a super soul, Krishna, he is master of all, including material nature. He is everywhere. So let's go back and read what exactly is Krishna saying. He said, I shall now explain the knowable. Knowable means the soul and the super soul. Knowing which you will taste the eternal. If you understand you are the soul and Krishna is the Supreme Lord, you will taste the eternal. Eternal is the soul and the Krishna. We are not the body. Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me. Brahman is the spirit, it's like the sun rays of Krishna. It's also part of the spirit. It's from Krishna, so it's spirit. It's beginningless and subordinate to me. Because of Krishna, because there's a sun, there are sun rays. The sun rays are because of the sun, right? So the Brahman is because of Krishna. So Brahman is the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of the material world. We are also part of Brahman. So we are also beginningless. Krishna did explain that. Krishna says that I have always been there and you also are always been there. You are also spirit. I am the supreme spirit, you are the small spirit. So it is, or you are subordinate to me. That means you are the servant of me. And you lie beyond the cause and effect of this material world. You are not of this world. This is not your real home. Your real home is in the spiritual world. This is what Krishna is explaining in this 13th verse. And then in 14 he says that as a everywhere are his hands. His is capital. So you understand he's talking about the Supreme Lord. Krishna is talking about himself. But he's talking like he is talking about God. But actually he is the God. He is the Supreme Lord. Everywhere are his hands and legs, eyes, heads, faces. He has ears everywhere. Because he is in your heart. Everywhere he can move. He's moving with you. Everywhere he can see. He has the form of a super soul. He hears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists, pervading everywhere. It's like a mini computer all linked to the mega computer. Krishna knows everything. So then the super soul is the original source of all senses. Yet he is without senses. Means that from Krishna, all the senses are created. But Krishna doesn't have any material senses. He is unattached. He's not engrossed or entangled in this material world. Although he is the maintainer of all living beings, he transcends the mode of nature. So actually he is the maintainer. Because of him, everyone is getting their food. We are all getting our food, our job, our relationships, all because of him. But he is not the He is not engrossed in this material, he is not affected. And at the same time, he is the master of the modes of material nature. Because the modes of material nature, he is the master, he is the one that actually is above them and he's seeing everything. How we are all being engrossed. The material nature is the inferior part of Krishna, it's also part of Krishna. Okay? And last but not least, the supreme truth exists outside and inside of all living entities. Outside meaning in the spiritual world. Inside meaning as a super soul. The moving and the unmoving. He also is in the moving. Those creatures that move. Unmoving is the creatures that don't move. Like the tree. Because he is subtle, he is beyond the power of the material senses to see or know. So the material senses cannot see him because he is very subtle. Although he is far, far away, but he is very near. Krishna is very far also, but he is very near. He is everywhere. Okay, any questions so far? Hare Krishna. Any comments, questions? This is chapter 13 onwards becomes a bit technical because there are a lot of people who want to know about the technicalities of the material world. So Krishna is also explaining. Can we proceed?
Sorry.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Can okay, someone can read 18 from the Bhagavad Gita, from Bhagavad Gita and 19 from the board. Who would like to volunteer? Who hasn't read any verses yet?
Read Prabhuji.
Yeah, okay, 18 from Bhagavad Gita. And then
17.
19. Yeah.
Just English only, right?
Yes,
From the
just
Bhagavad Gita.
English.
Okay.
Normal.
13.18, he is the source of light in all luminous objects. He is
Object.
beyond objects. He is beyond the darkness of a matter and is unmanifested. His knowledge, he is the object of a knowledge and he is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. 13.19.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, can you guide me?
Iti kshetram tata jnanam.
Iti kestram tata jananam
Jnanam. J-N-A. Na.
jnanam
Yeah. Neyam choktam samasata.
niyam choktam samasata
Neyam
niyam choktam
Samasata.
samasata
Mad bhakta etat vijnaya.
mat bhakta etat vijnaya
Mad bhavayo papatyate.
mat pavayo papatyate.
Very good.
Thus the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this truly,
Thoroughly.
currently,
Yeah.
and this attain to my nature.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So in 18, Krishna says, in a way he's saying, I am the source of light of all luminous objects. Remember, there's also one other chapter where Krishna says, later I think maybe, I am the source of all luminous objects. Because of the sun, I am the source of the sun, you know. I am the source of the stars, you know. So he is beyond darkness of matter. Krishna is beyond the darkness of matter. In this material world, there is darkness, but in the spiritual world, there is no darkness. Because the spiritual world, everything there, it just glows. So the light comes from everything. So there is no darkness there. And there is no heat and no cold. So is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. Krishna is never become, was not born, is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He knows, and he is the object of the knowledge. It is him that we are supposed to understand. That is the object of knowledge. And he is the goal of the knowledge. And he is the goal of the knowledge. We want to know about Krishna, and from this knowledge we will understand that we are supposed to go back to the spiritual world. He is situated in everyone's heart. So he is beyond the darkness of matter, unmanifest. He is knowledge. He is the truth. He is knowledge. And he is the object of the knowledge. We want to know about him. He is the object. He is the knowledge itself. And also we want to know about this truth, knowledge. And he is also the goal. This is what we want to understand, how we are going to connect our soul with the Supreme Lord. He is situated in everyone's heart. Thus, Krishna is explaining, I have explained about the body, the knowledge, all the types of knowledge, and also the knowable, what you need to know about the material world and the spiritual world have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. So why did Krishna say only my devotees can understand this thoroughly? Why not he say everyone can understand who reads this? Why only devotees can understand? Anyone would like to try and explain?
Perhaps Prabhu Krishna will not reveal himself to everyone.
Okay, that's one answer. Anyone else? Or Kavita, you want to elaborate? You need to elaborate on what you said.
Sorry, Prabhu, I didn't get what you're asking.
You need to elaborate what you just said.
Oh,
Say more.
okay. If for us to understand Krishna, he has to reveal himself, which he will only do to people who are qualified, those who are his devotees and doing devotional service to him.
Okay, this is correct also, but I need some more. This is part of it. Yes, good.
So he will only reveal himself to the devotees. For the others, I think he's.
Okay, someone else can give some answer. Why?
Prabhu, I try.
Yeah. Tell.
I think if I remember, beginning of the chapter 4, the Gita can only be perfectly understood by devotees. Then once the doubts are removed, the study of the Gita becomes very nice. One develops a taste and feeling for Krishna consciousness. So maybe that's why the Bhagavad Gita can only be understood fully by devotees.
What I'm trying to say is you must have faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's also part of the question answer, correct? Come on. Anyone else would like to try? Add on? Anyone else want to add on? Because this is very important, Why is Krishna saying this? No one? Okay, I just explained my understanding, because I'm also having my own understanding. I'm not perfect, but okay. My devotees can understand this thoroughly. He can understand that there is spirit and there is matter, right? Otherwise, the materialists may not believe in God. They may say this world is itself. So if they don't believe in God, how are they going to believe that the body and the soul is different. So that is why a devotee knows that he is a soul and that there is God and we are supposed to be connected to God. So that is why you have to become a devotee to have that understanding. So my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain to my nature. Second thing is, Krishna says that those who are envious of me, I do not show myself. Just Kavita did say that in a different way. But anyway, he says that those who are not my devotees, I do not show myself because they are envious of me. So I don't want, you see, Krishna doesn't want to show to people who are envious of him because they will do more offense. You know, they will do more offense and it's bad for them. So for Krishna is nothing. Krishna doesn't get hurt anything, but he doesn't want to make them more offensive and then go downward in spiritual life. He's trying to raise everyone up. He doesn't want to bring someone down. You know, Mahaprabhu, he was preaching, he was sometimes in a trance. And one day he was in a trance and he was in his mind, he was actually elevated to being in the spiritual world. I mean, he's already in Supreme Lord, but he's elevated to being with Radharani because he's Krishna, right? So he said, gopis, gopis, gopis. Then there were some young boys who heard him and said, hey, what nonsense you're saying, gopis, gopis, gopis. And then he was angry and he was scolding them. Then they all say, what type of Guruji is this useless fellow? Then Mahaprabhu realized, oh, what I am doing is actually, I am trying to make people go back to the spiritual world, but these people are going further away. So that is why he took sannyas. He said, at least they will not become offensive to me. And you know, a person who sees a sannyasi, normally they don't be offensive in the Indian culture anyway. So in this way, Krishna says that if you become my devotee, then you will understand what I'm trying to say. If you don't become my devotee, you say, this all don't know, this all fairy tale or what. It doesn't make sense. You understand, huh? Okay. Anyone else have anything else to say before we proceed? Understood or not? Why he say my devotees can understand this? Because to understand this, you need to be on a higher plane. A devotee is actually stated, a devotee is higher than a brahmana, by the way. But if you are a brahmana and a devotee, you are of course very high. But if you are just a brahmana and someone else is a devotee, but the brahmana is not a devotee, that devotee is higher than the brahmana. Mahaprabhu says that. Okay? Okay, who would like to read?
May I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, sure.
Prakriti and Purusha are beginningless. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva Vidhi Anadi Ubhavapi Vikarams Cha Gunams Chaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. Material nature and the living entities should be understood to the beginningless. They are transformations and the modes of matter are products of material nature. Thank you.
Material nature and the living entity should be understood to be beginningless. Krishna is beginningless. Material nature is the inferior part of Krishna. Living entities are the superior part of Krishna. So actually, since Krishna is beginningless, these are also always have been there. It is never not there. Only there is a transformation of the modes of material nature, and these are all the products of material nature, and these are part of the inferior nature of the Lord. So far, so good. Understand? That means the material world is also part of Krishna. You know, remember the universal form? You all remember the universal form? Yeah. So basically, we should understand that everything is part of Krishna. Okay. So now we read 21, 22, and 23. Who would like to read?
Can I, Prabhu?
Yeah, can.
13.21. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. 13.22. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with the material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. 13.23, the one on the,
Yes.
okay, I think Prabhu, you need to guide me.
Okay. Upadrastanumanta chang
Upadastan numantacha
Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara.
prakta bhokta maheshwara
Bharta Bhokta Maheshwara.
prakta bhokta maheshwara
Paramatmeti Chapi Ukto.
paramati chapi ukto
Dehismi Purusha Para.
dehismi purusha para. Yet in this body there is another transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Now, so nature is the cause of all material causes and effects. The nature does its duty. The sun is there, the moon is there, the earth is there, the fire is there, the wind is there. They are doing their duty. They are just, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various suffering and enjoyment in this world. The living entities are the cause and of suffering and enjoyment. It's how is it? In 22, you say the living entity is in the material nature, thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. What are three modes? Goodness, passion, and ignorance. This is due to his association with material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among the various species. According to how he is in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, he is meeting with the good and evil among the various species of life. So you have good deeds and bad deeds, and you got good karma and bad karma. And then, yet, Krishna saying, even though the living entity is interacting with the material world, but I am also sitting there as the transcendental enjoyer. Krishna is always transcendental, and he's seeing, and he is the Lord. He is the owner of everybody. He is the owner of everything, and who sees as an overseer. He's making sure, he's looking, and he's also the conscience in you. Sometimes you want to do something, the conscience says, don't do. Whether you listen or not, that's another question. And he is the overseer and the permitter. You want to do something bad, and then Krishna will see you, and then if he gives you the permission to do whatever you want to do bad, then only the bad can happen. Otherwise, no. but the desire is yours. Your desire to do bad or to do sinful thing is yours. But Krishna is the one who permits or don't permit. And he is known as the super soul. So the question now is, why he permit us to do bad things? Right?
Yes, sir. I also had the same question.
Okay. Because we have our independence. So he has the independence, he cannot stop us, but he says, okay, you want to do, but you will have to suffer the bad, you have to suffer the karma and learn yourself. So that is why he allows us to do. If we are not intelligent, we will do it and we will also suffer. And hopefully we'll come to the understanding that actually what we did is wrong. That is why we are suffering. If you want to
Prabhu,
steal something, you go and steal, you want to enjoy that. But you must understand, you get caught, you will go jail and suffer.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
actually, another question could be why people may ask why does he allow bad things to happen to us rather than we do bad things? Why does bad things happen to us if he's there?
Okay, this is coming to free will in the sense that if you have a child and you are the father, and then the child must love you. You cannot force your child to love you, right? Can you force your child to love you?
No, Prabhu.
You want your child to love you on its own accord, isn't it? You must tell the child, you must love me, okay? Would you like to do that? No, right? The child say, yes, I love you, even though he don't love you. So in a way, Krishna doesn't force you because he wants you to understand it yourself and to love the Lord yourself so that you are qualified to go back to spiritual world. Otherwise, you're not qualified. When you give money to your child and the child go and use it to buy cigarette, next time you want to give or don't want to give as a good father? You don't want to give. But if you give a child the money and the child on your birthday go and buy some nice present and give you, you say, what a nice child, even though the money is yours. But you say the love, I'm looking at the love, is not the thing that he has bought. How much he loves, that's why he's thinking of me and buying for me. So Krishna is the same. He's giving us the money, seeing how we are using the money and how we are running our life, whether we really love him or not. If we don't love him, we can't really go back to the spiritual world. We still have to come back to the material world. It's not only fed up of the material world, it's also you have the two things, fed up and also you need to have love for Krishna. You must understand that Krishna is your protector and he's your best friend. If we understand that Krishna is our best friend, then we can love him. Otherwise, how to love him? You will love your best friend, right? If your friend is very good to you, you love him, right? Correct or not? Does that answer your question, or partially, or fully, or not at all?
Actually, maybe I was asking, sometimes we see that bad things happen to us. We never ask for it. We are very God-fearing, we are devotees. Then we are wondering how come these things happen to us.
Because the last karma, you did something bad. You have to get the reaction for it. Maybe now you're good, but last life you may have done something. So you have to get rid of the bad karma by your suffering. And sometimes you may think that you are doing only good. You can't see that you are doing bad. You ask
And
the Najib, are you good? Of course, I'm very good. He'll tell you. I'm a very good prime minister last time. I take care of so many people. Will he tell you I was bad, I stole so much money? He doesn't think. No one thinks of themselves as bad. That's the problem. We all think ourselves very good.
Prabhuji, may I check when you, okay, based on his question just now, you say it's because of bad karma, right? But I also have heard that when you are into Krishna, you pray and things like that. Of course, you have to pay for the karma, but the thing is, it will not be as bad that as much that you're supposed to get the bad thing happen.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Because Krishna will interfere and give you some respite. Not all, but some.
Some, yes.
Yeah, just like Jai and Vijay, they offended the four Kumaras, and Vishnu came out, and then he told the Kumaras, they are my gatekeepers anyway. They are trying to do their duty. I'm actually the master, so I'm at fault. Lord Vishnu is saying, well, of course, Krishna is not at fault. But then, then finally, the gatekeepers were given a chance. You become 3 times as demons or 7 times as devotees. They said, we want to come back fast. We be demons, it's all right. That's why they became Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. And then he became Ravan and Kumbhakarna. And then finally he gave Sisupala and what? One more. You understand? So you cannot, Krishna won't make 0. You have to suffer some part. You're right, Mataji. You get less.
Yeah, thank you.
Shall we proceed? We are almost to the end. Okay, we come back. Prakti is the material nature. Purusha is the enjoyer of the material nature. Kshetra is the body. Just now we are talking, right? So Krishna is giving all these answers. Kshetra Jana is the soul and the super soul. The soul is we and the super soul. Okay, they are the knowers of the body. But the soul knows a little part. But Krishna, super soul, knows all part. And then Janam is understanding and Kshetra Janya, understanding. That's the knowledge. And then Jnanam is the soul and the super soul. Again, these words are the meaning. All these are meaning. Okay? Purusha means enjoy. This all Sanskrit is what it really means. Okay? Okay, so now we are, where are we? 24, 25, and 26. Someone would like to do this?
24.
Any volunteer? Twenty-four, 25, and 26.
Can I read?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Louder, please. I can't hear you.
One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless of his present position. 25. Some perceive the super soul within themselves through meditation, others through the cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working without fruitive desires. 26. Again, there are those who, although
Sanskrit 26. Sanskrit.
26. Okay, this sounds good. Anyatam anyate evam ajantaha srutam Strutava ye bhaya upasate te api chati tara taranta yeva mrityum struti parayana. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about them from others. Because of their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay,
Hare
so
Krishna.
we are coming to the end of the part 1. Some perceive the super soul within themselves. If you understand that there's a super soul, so you're trying to find out about the super soul. So some people understand that there is a super soul sitting next to my heart, and they can understand it through meditation. That's the purpose of meditation, is to find the super soul. Okay, basic idea. Others through the cultivation of knowledge. So some people through meditation, they are trying to find the super soul, like the yogis. Some others are trying to find through knowledge, like the Bhagavad Gita, and still others through working without fruitive activities. They are doing action, their dharma without result. They are also trying to find the Lord. All these are trying to find the Lord, the super soul. Again, there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge, begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others. Those people who are not spiritual at all, but they suddenly are preached to, someone preached to them and talk about Krishna, and suddenly there is a desire to know. So they started their spiritual journey that way, and because of the tendency to hear from authorities, that means they started with Shravanam, hearing about the Lord, hearing Bhagavad Gita, hearing about spiritual life. They started their spiritual journey. They also finally will go back to the spiritual world. And then so basic idea is that 24, I forgot to do. One who understands this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity, and the interaction of the modes of nature is sure to attain liberation. He will not see birth here again, regardless of his present position. In 24, it means that once you understand this, the difference between the body, the soul, and the Supreme Lord, and the relationship, once you really understand, you will be actually a very spiritual person, and you will do all the correct dharmic things, and your bhakti will grow. So you will not take your birth again in spite of your present condition. Meaning, even if you are born as a dog eater in the family of dog eaters, you can still go back to God. No problem. It's not based on birth. It's based on your endeavor. So Krishna is speaking very clearly. You may be a Brahmana, but you may not go back spiritual world, because you got no you got no devotion for the Lord. You have no love. You just doing things in a mechanical mode. There is no heart involved. There is no love involved. There is no understanding involved. And there is also envy of other living entities. You think that you are Brahmana, you look down on everyone. It's not true. Because if you are a Brahmana, you should be loving to everyone. So then, if you are not loving to everyone, you're not a Brahmana. You are actually in the lower class. So, but if you are in the born even the family of dog eaters, you are very become spiritual, and you started hearing and practicing spiritual life, you can go back. You won't. You see, very this 24 is very strong statement. You will not take birth here again if you understand this. So this is very interesting. Again, they are not conversant with spiritual knowledge. Once you start your spiritual journey and you are sincere and you are steadfast and you are desiring with all your life and soul, you will transcend the path of birth and death. Okay, this is end of part 1. So, have I told you the story of the cobbler and the Brahmana?
Yeah.
I think I have. Have I told you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who doesn't remember? So I don't have.
I don't remember, Prabhu.
Huh?
I don't remember, Prabhu.
Okay. All right. So we'll tell you this story. We'll make it. It's not a very long story. This Narada Muni was going to see Krishna, and then he was passing by a Brahmana, and the Brahmana saw Narada Muni. He said, "Please come into my house and give the blessings. By your presence, my whole house will become blessed." So Narada Muni graciously accepted, and the Brahmana gave him nice prasad and drinks and all that, and made him very comfortable. And then he asked Narada Muni, where, what are you doing? Where are you going from here? He said, "I'm going to see Krishna." "Oh, so nice," Brahmana said. "Can you ask a question from Krishna?" Narada Muni said, "Yes, tell me." Tell him, ask him, how many lifetimes am I before I go back to the spiritual world? So Narada Muni said, "Sure." Then he was passing by a cobbler. Cobbler also saw Narada Muni. He knows that Narada Muni is a very nice devotee. He asked Narada Muni, "Please come and sit down." And then, because he was a cobbler, well, he got some juice or some milk, and then he gave to Narada Muni whatever he could afford, or maybe some fruits, something like anyway, whatever he had. And then Narada Muni accepted, and then he said, "Narada Muni, where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to see Krishna." "Oh, so wonderful! You're so fortunate. I wish I could also go, but I'm not qualified. So can you tell me something? Are you coming back this way?" He said, "Yes, I am." "Can you just tell me what Krishna is doing? All I want to know is what Krishna is." So Narada Muni said, "Okay." So he went to Lord Krishna. And Krishna was there, and then Narada Muni was given very nice treatment by Lord Krishna and washed his feet and gave him nice prasad. And he asked Narada, "Tell me about your travels." And then Narada Muni mentioned about many other things. But he also mentioned about this Brahmana who's asking how many lifetimes, and also about the cobbler. So then he tells, "Okay, tell Brahmana he has 100 more lifetimes to come back." So this one here you can see is 100 lifetimes. But there's another version of 10 lifetimes. I don't know, whatever you want. Okay. And then Narada Muni said, the cobbler is asking what you are doing. "Oh, tell him I'm taking the elephant and putting through the eye of a needle." But here is written that the cobbler can be told that he will see me at the end of his present life. So I mean, this is one type of interpretation. But I'll tell you my interpretation, what I've heard. And here is Lord Narayan. Mine is Lord Krishna. Okay. So sometimes the interpretation is a little different. So anyway, Narada Muni was told to tell the cobbler that. And then Narada Muni said, "Okay, I will." And then Krishna said, "Tell the cobbler that he has as many lifetimes as the leaves under the tree he is. So then Nada Muni said, sure, will do. So then first he went and then he passed by the Brahmana's house, and the Brahmana was very happy to see him and also gave him nice prasad and drink and said, Nada Muni, how many lifetimes? Krishna says, I have. And then the Nada Muni said, you have 10 more lifetimes. Ah? What 10 more lifetimes? I am very qualified Brahmana. I know how to do all the mantras, pujas. I have done no sinful activities. How can 10 more lifetimes? Nada Muni, are you sure you went to see Krishna? Nada Muni said, of course I went to see. You doubt me? No, but then, okay, let me put you to test. What was Krishna doing? Oh, Krishna is taking an elephant and putting through the eye of a needle. Oh, Nada Muni, you are a big cheater and liar. No one can do this. How can the Lord put the elephant through the eye of needle? Please get out from here. You are a big cheater. You never see Krishna, you are making stories. So anyway, Nada Muni left because he was thrown out by the Brahmana. Then he passed by the cobbler. And then the cobbler was also there. And he said, Nada, Nada, come, come. Have you seen Krishna? Yes. Please come and sit. So anyway, Nada was sitting with the cobbler. And then he said, tell me what was Krishna doing? He said, Krishna is taking the elephant and putting through the eye of a needle. Oh, so wonderful. See the glories of Krishna. He can do the impossible also he can do. He can take an elephant and put through the eye of a needle. So wonderful Krishna. And then Nada Muni was thinking, the Brahmana is not believing this story, but this cobbler is so simple-hearted and he is fully believing. What a great, great soul the cobbler is. And then he told the Brahmana, the cobbler, I got bad news for you. The cobbler said, what is the bad news? He said, you have as many lifetimes as the leaves under the tree you are working. Then the cobbler started jumping up and down. Very happy. Nada Muni got shocked. Why are you jumping up and down? You know how many thousands of leaves there are? How many thousands of lifetimes you have to be? Oh, that is okay, Nada Muni. Just, you can count the leaves. So definitely the number of times I'll be in this material world, I can count. After that, I'll be going back spiritual world. That itself is a very happiness for me. And once he said that, all the leaves of the tree fell down except one leaf. So what does that mean? Because of his faith and his in Krishna, and because of his happiness that he will be going back to the spiritual world, instead of going through thousands of lifetimes, Krishna cut it to one lifetime. So this lifetime, the cobbler will go back, but the Brahmana still has to take many lifetimes. And maybe because he does 10, supposed to be 10 lifetimes, because he is such a, he treated the Narada Muni so badly, maybe it will be increased to 100 lifetimes. This is my speculation, but anyway, this is what I understand. Okay, that's the story. So your sincerity will actually make you do less karma as what just now we heard. Huh? Okay, before we finish, someone would I'll read this, okay? Jaya vacham vakatam iti udeti bhavato mam nama swarupandvaya vasmat param eva hanta karumam tatrapi janimahi yastasmit vihita paratha nivaham prani samatad bhavet asye nedam upasya sopihi radhanandam buddha majati. From Krishna Namastakam, verse 6. Who would like to read the English? This is the last one, last chance. Who hasn't read? Want to read one more time?
I read, Prabhuji.
Okay.
O holy name, you are manifested in two forms. First, the Supreme Person described by the holy name. And second, the sound vibration of the holy name. We know that the second form is even more merciful than the first, because although a person may commit many offenses to your first form, he will still plunge into an ocean of bliss by serving your second with his voice. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So the holy name is more powerful than
Prabhuji, the holy name you mean Krishna, is it?
Krishna's name.
Sorry?
Krishna's name.
Just Krishna. Krishna names.
Mahamantra is also a holy name. Krishna's names are also holy names.
That we chanting is?
Wait, let me finish, then you ask questions.
Okay.
Basically, Krishna's name is more powerful than the Krishna. In what way? In his mercy. The holy name is more merciful than the Krishna. Krishna says you must bow down to me, but the holy name just by chanting will purify you and make you capable or qualified to be a good devotee. You understand? So the holy name in Kali Yuga is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Okay, now what's your question?
Just now said holy name is Krishna. Then the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare is the one is?
It's also the holy name. That's actually the holy name in Kali Yuga.
Okay.
Because it's Radharani and Krishna inside together. Both are one actually, but half is Radharani. You know, Krishna is the Lord is one, but his half is Radharani in the Lord.
Oh, half is Krishna, half is Radharani.
Now Krishna is one, but half of him is Radharani.
Oh, okay.
Without Radharani, he is not complete. Understand?
It's similar like a Sivan Parvati, is it?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay, this is the end of part 1. Any questions before we end the class?